All right, welcome back for another week of shooting. And the last couple weeks, I am going to apologize for the slow rollout of the marking. I should be getting a ton, hopefully at this point. It is Tuesday after the long weekend. Hopefully everything that you have submitted is marked up to this point, and I do apologize for the slow rollout of your assignments so far, because there's just been a lot of people just getting used to navigating this system for the first time. Maybe it's, for a lot of us, it is our first e-learning course, and just getting used to kind of navigating a course on your own and submitting stuff on your own. There's some challenges that come with that, and we've been working that out for the last couple of weeks, but hopefully now we are smooth sailing. So I do apologize for the slow rollout of the assignments that you have been handing in, but they have been looking great. I love when I see work that is inspiration currently right now. Right, I talked about these before, is reading books about creativity, and I love seeing your creative work. And I always do love it when you do give me a good description of your process when you are actually taking an image. Just even reading that little bit gives me great insight into what you find creative, right? I can kind of maybe interpret it from the pictures that you take, but when you give me that little description, right, it's clear what inspires you to take certain types of images. So please keep it up. When you do submit things, always do give that description below it. But your stuff has been great so far, so let's keep it up. All right, this week, we've gone over our elements of design, our principles of design. You know what the different features of a camera like ISO, shutter speed, and aperture are gonna do. Now we're gonna add a little bit more into how we compose an image, which, if you can kind of see it on the back screen, is the rule of thirds, right? If I'm gonna take a picture of a landscape, I'm not gonna put that horizon line dead center. I'm gonna put it either in the top third or the bottom third, depending on where I want that image to be. Same thing if I have an area that is more interesting on the left or the right, whether it is a tree, whether it is a building, I'm gonna put that on the far third, or I'm gonna put it to the other side. However I wanna compose the image. I'm not gonna put it dead center unless the two sides are perfectly symmetrical. I'm gonna put it on one side or the other. All right, so that's what we're gonna look at this week, is how we compose our images. And if I just scroll down, right, one other technique is a frame within a frame, right? So maybe you're taking a picture of a doorway, and that doorway is creating another frame for the subject within that frame, right? Windows do the same thing, because you have the frame of the picture, then you have the frame of the window, then you have the subject within that. It's called frame within a frame. Great technique as well. Other good ones are when you fill an entire screen, and I won't get super close to the screen, but you can imagine if I was super close, it would just be my face, and that also portrays a certain message when you fill the frame with your subject matter. So that's what the content is gonna be about this week. When you get to the action portion, there is a large reading within it. It is not meant for you to read from start to finish kind of thing, because there's a lot of different ways and features that you can add in, and different techniques that you can add to your portraits. That's for you to read through, not from start to finish, because it is very long. But if you ever have a free moment once you're done an activity, or even in our future weeks when I say this is a catch-up week, because I'm telling right now, the following week will be a catch-up week, where if it's like, if there's one of these assignments that you're missing, you're gonna ensure that you get it in that week, where you could go back and read some of these things, right? So some of the weeks there's large amounts of reading content to go through. That's something that you can get caught up on during our kind of catch-up weeks. For this week's consolidation is a fun activity where you're gonna spell your name, and you are gonna spell your name taking pictures of things that look like letters. Right? So you can't take an actual picture. Say you have a street sign that has the word stop, but you have an S in your name. So you walk up to the stop sign, and take a picture of an S. You can't do that, because that's a literal S. You need to find things in nature that the shape of it looks like the letter. Okay, so I'll put up some examples where you can see, what's one of our words? The word is imagine, right? And the Eiffel Tower, the peak of it, is a shape you can use as an I to start the word. Same thing as a bridge in the openings creates the M. It's not, you're not literally looking for the letter. You're looking for shapes, right? That's back to that first week when we were talking about form and shape. Now you're looking at form and shape of the environment to try to find letters that you can use to spell your name. And then you're gonna put all those series of pictures in order to literally spell a word. That word, easy word to choose, is your name, right? Nice, easy one. For this activity, try to take the same image from slightly different angles, because this one might heavily rely on shadows, right? The way a shadow falls, say you're taking a picture of a hose and that hose is in the shape of an S. Well, if there's a shadow or a light, it might help emphasize the letter rather than taking it straight down. Maybe you're gonna take it from a little bit of an angle. Definitely take, when you're taking a picture of the letter, take it from like 3 different angles to see if one of those perspectives works a little better. And this is a fun one to try to create consistency between our images, because maybe the coloring will be off, which is why maybe you see black and white examples, because if the coloring's off, just make them all black and white, then it will seem more symmetrical. Same thing maybe for this activity, not that you have to, but maybe you're gonna try to make it garden related, I'll say, because my first example was a hose, right? Where maybe the next letter might be an I, so I'm gonna look for the stem of a flower. Or maybe the next letter might be a T, so I'm gonna look for a plant that has 2 leaves sticking off the side. Then not only am I making my name flow with all of it being black and white, all of the image have a similar theme because they're all outdoor related, right? Or maybe they're gonna be kitchen utensils and that's the theme. Or maybe they're all action adventures and I'm using sporting equipment like skis and ski poles and a basketball for an O. All the pictures are sport related. And when you do little things like that, it starts to create, you know, coherency within your image, and that heightens when you look at something, you're like, wow, why does this one seem more interesting than another one? It might be because there's not only consistency between the coloring, but there's also consistency between the themes of the images used for the lettering, right? If I was a person that really loved to travel, I might want to spell my name with buildings from around the world, right? Obviously, you're not going to travel the world with this activity, but that might be something you want to do in the future, right? You're a person that enjoys traveling, and you might want to spell out the word adventure. So every time you go up to the cottage or you go on vacation, you're trying to add another letter. So then once you've traveled a bunch of places in the world, you have this word adventure and you have it posted on the wall, and it's from all your different adventures around the world. It's a fun way, it's a fun little project that is kind of ongoing and something to look forward to when you do all your different trips, right? That's just a way to incorporate this activity into your daily lives. So this week you are making letters from the world. You gotta find them. You're gonna take a picture of it and you are gonna spell out your name. If you can have them be all the same color tone, right? Maybe even if you're very skilled in the Photoshop world or with your phone, see if you can drop the coloring of everything else but the letter, right? So once again, if it was my hose would be green, but the back of everything else is black and white, right? So then when I spell my word out, it really stands out as a way to make consistency within color. But you could also make them all black and white, or you could even all color, right? Maybe that is your theme, is to try to make it have a burst of color, so each image is super vibrant in color, right? Also, you're looking for that 4++, try to make a similar theme throughout each of the image, whether that's outdoor stuff, kitchen stuff, sporting goods, something related between each of those elements. This is always a fun one. I always love to see how people put this together. If you're a person who, maybe have one of those apps with all the different tiles and you can put them in order, that's one way to do it. Or just put this into Word, put all the little images side by side, and it spells your name, and then you just hand that in, okay? Describe for me some of the challenges you faced when doing this and also what you enjoyed about it. All right, short video this week. Next week is going to be a catch-up week. So it'll be a chance for you to kind of go back over the material, look over some of the parts that maybe you didn't watch the videos or do all the readings, or you haven't handed in one of the assignment. That's what's gonna be next week. All right, later guys, I hope you guys had a good long weekend. We got a short week ahead of us. So we're gonna got 4 days to do this activity, which is why don't spend too long with that reading part in the middle, because you will have time to do that next week. Jump right into trying to find images to spell your name. All right, guys, I'll see you later.